Hello, my name is Kerkez and I'm coming from Department of Chemistry, Biochemistry and Environmental Protection from Faculty of Sciences, University of Novi Sad, Republic of Serbia. Today I'm going to talk to you about water as the center of the climate crisis today. We are all aware of the climate change, and the climate change means higher temperatures. These higher temperatures will condition the rate of evaporation of water into the atmosphere, increasing the atmospheric capacity to hold water. Increased evaporation can dry out some areas while causing excessive precipitation in others. Increasing demand for water while water resources will decrease. In other areas, water shortages will be less of a problem than runoff, flooding, or rising sea levels. Here you can see one of the most comprehensive assessments of climate change ever undertaken. The integral report confirms that climate change is being observed worldwide and that the warming of the climate system is undeniable. Many of the changes we have seen since 1950s are unprecedented in previous decades, even thousands of years. The conclusion of the assessment is that the atmosphere and oceans have warmed, that the amount of snow and ice has decreased, that the ocean level has risen, and that the concentration of carbon dioxide has increased to a level not seen in the last 800,000 years. It is widely accepted that this is one of the most obvious challenges facing humanity. Human influence on the climate system is evident and increasing, and its effects are felt on all continents. If left unchecked, climate change will increase the likelihood of serious, significant, and irreversible impacts on people and ecosystem. There are, however, opportunities to adapt to a climate change. Implementing strong mitigation measures can ensure that the impact of the climate change remains under control and that our future is more certain. The more human activities disrupt the climate, the greater the risk and present particular challenges to less developed countries and vulnerable communities, especially because of their limited coping options. People who are marginalized in a social, economic, cultural, political, institutional, or any other sense are particularly threatened by climate change. To limit the risk of climate change, the most important thing is a significant and sustainable reduction of the greenhouse gas emissions. As mitigation measures simultaneously reduce the rate and the extent of warming, they also provide more time to adapt to a specific level of climate change. Climate change is causing the weather around the world to get more extreme, and scientists are increasingly able to pinpoint exactly how the weather is changing as the Earth heats up. And what about water? We continue to put more pressure on this valuable resource. As predicted, with the current rate of water exploitation, the global annual water demand in 2030 would be 6,900 billions of cubic meters, exceeding more than 64% of total accessible and reliable water source. And climate change will worsen the situation. To put a more sustainable framework for water management, we need to address the challenges and opportunities of water reuse, the availability of water resource in the future, to put emphasis on wastewater treatment and management plans and emphasis on water as a precious resource. The management of water resource system has existed as long as human civilization and it is largely conditioned by the development of society. The ultimate goal of water resource management is to provide water in a sufficient quantity and appropriate quality for all users. This goal includes the protection of water resources and protection from water-related disasters such as floods and droughts. Changes in the water regime due to climate change and other components on the hydrological cycle are more pronounced than estimated. Floods and droughts are becoming more severe in some areas and an increase in these manifestation is more likely. It is well known that rainfall patterns have changed and will continue to do so, changing in the direction of more intense and alternating catastrophic events. The water crisis can be avoided, or its consequences for overall development can be reduced by long-term strategic determination, the concept of sustainable planning of water resources by respecting the following principles of sustainability: reduction of specific water consumption, especially in industry, by gradually transitioning to technologies with mandatory recirculation and repeated use of water; planning urban and industrial development according to available water resources in accordance with water management possibilities and water protection problems; protection of existing and potential source of drinking water by spatial planning measures and protection policies; purification of industrial and communal wastewater before its release into waterways, as the most important measure for environmental protection and improvement; anti-erosion protection of watersheds and regulation of rivers by landscaping banks as a prerequisite for urbanization of settlements. Here are 5 key conclusions related to increasing resilience to climate change. Regarding water management, application of modern technologies, rationalization of water consumption, adaptability, access to knowledge and information, and exploring alternative sources. Let's go a little bit further, peeking into the future. Experts say cities need to be designed with this in mind, as growing number of urban areas are experiencing devastating floods due to the climate change. So-called sponge cities are urban areas with abundant natural areas such as trees, lakes and parks, or other good design intended to absorb rain and prevent flooding. Interest in harnessing nature or using nature-based solutions to tackle the climate shock has grown in popularity in recent years. Generally, the water sector contributes up to 10% of carbon emissions locally from its energy consumption, for example, pumping station for water transport, irrigation, groundwater pumping, as well as distributing to greenhouse gas emission from wastewater system. In agriculture, water management is one of the most important practices affecting methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen oxides emissions. The demand for water for crop production is likely to increase due to the climate change with higher temperatures and greater variability of precipitation. In response to climate change, increasing resource scarcity and environmental degradation, societies around the world are initiating a transition to a circular economy that focuses on reducing the material consumption, reusing materials, and recovering materials from waste. Following the concept of circular economy is increasingly seen as an integral part of sustainable development and fulfillment of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, so-called SDGs. In accordance to this concept, for example, wastewater can no longer be viewed as waste stream because of the large number of technologies are available to recover water, energy, nutrients, and other valuable products from it. In this concept of water resource management, water utilities are beginning to promote a circular water economy that reduces water consumption, reuses and recycles water and wastewater, and recover materials, including heat and minerals, from water and wastewater, not only to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but also to improve resistance to climate change. If we look at the wastewater in this way, there are 3 paths for the recovery of resources: water, energy, and material flows. The circular economy identifies opportunities within 3 interconnected pathways: water, energy, and materials, by recovering and using all valuable resources in water and ideally providing additional beneficial flows for the water sector. It is the application of the circular economy concept in the wastewater sector that should enable sustainable management within the natural water cycle. I don't want to end before mentioning the World Water Day, held on March 22nd every year since 1993. This day celebrates water and raises awareness of the 2 billion people living without access to safe water. The World Water Day in 2023 is all about accelerating change to solve the water and sanitation crisis. And because water affects us all, we need anyone and everyone to take actions. That means you. You and your family, school, and community can make a difference by changing the way you use, consume, and manage water in your lives. Play your part, do what you can. Right now, we are seriously off track to meet Sustainable Development Goal 6, dedicated to water and sanitation for all by 2030. To accelerate change, we need more action. Here are the steps that any one of us can do. Please select your action list. And here you have water saving tips and tricks to be really water smart. What I recommend is to turn off the water while brushing your teeth. You should take shorter showers. Check taps and pipes for leakages. Stop using your toilet as an ashtray or wastebasket. Use better home appliances. Don't let the tap run while you clean vegetables and fruits. Keep a bottle of drinking water in the refrigerator. Don't waste water by running tap to wait for the cool water to drink. Install water-saving shower heads or flow restrictors. Use broom instead of hose. Deep soak your lawn and don't run the hose while washing your car and any other object. With these tips and tricks, I want to end my presentation. So be the change you wish to see in the world. Thank you.